People's Radio United.
Stuff going on with the wiretaps and the tax returns and all that madness. I spelled wiretap with two P's, by the way.
It's just especially for a certain somebody that I don't feel like talking his name out loud, but yeah, just especially for him.
Well, I was pretty distressed to find out that all those times I had sex on the kitchen counter, the microwave's been spying on me and taping it. I hope that doesn't end up on the internet someday.
I really was wondering where that one Ethernet cable had got to, and then when I saw it jacked into my toaster, I got real scared, I gotta say.
Yeah, that was insane.
That's just not right. I just want to make toast, man. I don't need all that stuff I do around here to be seen.
I know, right?
Do you think she was serious? She says that she was just, being ridiculous and saying everything, even a microwave or whatever. But do you think she was serious?
It's so hard to tell. I mean, anymore, it's just everything is such distraction propaganda that I don't know who's serious, who thinks they're serious, and who's just spouting nonsense to be loud and distracting from actual fucking news in the world.
Because Kellyanne Conway has said some equally stupid things that were supposedly serious. So it's hard. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to tell. It's impossible.
Like the Bowling Green massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still pray for the families of those victims.
I made a Avi overlay actually for that. To always remember to never forget actual alternate history.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the interview and I think she was serious at the time, but the whole thing is like this and so many other comments. It's telling because it means it's one of two things is going on. Either Trump's people are dead serious when they say all this wacky shit, or what's going on is they're saying all this wacky shit to distract from scandals and
ding, ding,
such
ding.
going on. Either way, it's bad. Either way, it shows that the Trump administration is just, either batshit crazy or corrupt as hell, or I'm thinking both.
Yeah, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. And I think, just to chime in on that, the thing that alarms me the most is it's so easy to get distracted. It's so easy, especially in these incredibly stressful times. I mean, this is why we're talking about doing this Tenets of Fascism show, right? There's a real reason for that. But, it's so easy to make the joke about, oh, yeah, tap with two Ps, ah, ha, ha, so funny. But who hasn't made a typo at the same time? And, it is distracting. It is distracting when we're talking about the nonsense about microwaves and everything, and instead of talking about what's going on under the surface when, even if they're just just the craziest motherfuckers that ever were crazy, there's still a whole Congress out there undermining everything, and some people need their Meals on Wheels, which apparently is not going to be a thing so much anymore. People need services that are being undermined every single day when we're not talking about that because we're talking about typos and microwaves. I mean, it's scary. It's scary how easy it is to just flood the system with this nonsense. Whether it's insanity or on purpose hardly even matters when the effect is the same.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is for distraction, but it's hard to tell what's what. Right now, I think it was today or yesterday, he went further and said not just Obama's wiretapping him, it was the UK as well.
He did what?
Yeah, I was reading that.
But they did it so politely, because they're no.
I shouldn't even be surprised. I shouldn't. Just
so
calm down, Steve. This is Trump. This is supposed to happen. Just relax, Steve.
Well, I see two options. Either he's doing it, well, maybe three options. He's either just crazy, which is a possibility, or he's doing it to distract from something, and that something might be that that one of our agencies are actually investigating him, and he knows it, and they're getting closer, and he's worried, so he's trying to, throw up all kinds of doubt and just kind of try to discredit people before it happens. I'm not
Well,
sure.
I definitely see him and his administration digging in. They're getting ready. They know that there is going to, at the very least, be an investigation and media circus on the level of what we have with Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky thing. Like, that's coming, and he knows it. Like, that's his best case scenario. So, yeah, trying to keep us off that and trying to, gaslight and that sort of thing is definitely going to happen, and is happening.
Here's the thing about that, though. It always happens. Whether it's by intent or just taking advantage of a situation. This is governance in this country. I mean, we spent years of our lives debating, is George Bush an idiot, or is he just like pretending to be an idiot so that we don't spend too much time worrying about the policies because he said something stupid and made up a word again. Well, I make up words all the time, and I'm pretty smart, but people will think I'm an idiot sometimes, and they'll get distracted from my message. But meanwhile, I am doing the serious work that I'm doing, and sometimes that does get lost under the goofiness, right? Meanwhile, you've got, during the Obama administration, there was a whole thing with sequestration, and that was such big news. So much talk about the sequestration. Well, what happens during that is the Monsanto bill gets passed, and whether you agree with it or disagree with it, a lot of people that voted for that man, his base, were very disapproving of that bill, and it just went right under the radar because that's not what the conversation at the time was. So this is just how the system is built to work or not work for us, as the case may be, but that's how it works for itself.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. It just seems like everything is used for some kind of distraction because, he's signing these executive orders. They're taking health care from, what do they say, 25 million people within so many years, maybe more. They're robbing the country blind. And then they releases, what was it, 2005 tax returns and make it a big deal.
Yeah, but it was just like a 1040.
It was like 2 pages. And they made it like some big deal, and it was like one of those gamer videos when you want to see something about a video game, and the guy talks for 2 minutes about, I want 100 likes, subscribe here, and he really doesn't say anything about the game, and it's a big letdown, like clickbait basically.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying those tax returns were probably leaked by Trump or his people. So,
when I heard the tax returns were coming out, like, that was my first thought was. This is going to be something that shows that there wasn't a problem in 2005, so we shouldn't look at all the others because obviously everything's legit from every year.
Yeah.
And of course, it turned out to be even more profoundly an insult to the American people's intelligence than I predicted. And it's just the 1040. It's 2 sheets that tell us nothing.
Yeah, because as a self-employed person, let me just say this: as a self-employed person, the important part of your tax return is not the 1040. That's just where you do your summary, and that's the rest of just where your last line items all synchronize. The important stuff is your itemized deductions. How much self-employment tax did you pay? A lot of the tax that he paid there would have been his self-employment, his personal tax that he can't avoid owing. Because if you're your own boss, then you have to pay into Social Security, all that stuff that your boss would normally take out of your taxes for you. So you want to know, like, what tax credits did he apply? What deductions did he take? And what receipts are attached to those? That my taxes, as like the tiniest business in the world, are like 8 pages long. So his have got to be folios full. And that's the important content.
Yeah,
Well, here's the other thing. I'd seen a report, I believe it was last night or maybe early this morning, that 2005 was also the year that his wife applied for citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do that, they needed his tax information, and he knew they were going to need it. So he probably had all his ducks in line for that 1 year for that very purpose. And the report was saying it doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to be legit before or after that, because that was a 1 year where they had to be legit.
Absolutely.
So I mean, there's a whole there's a lot of reasons he might have had that 1 year released. It makes no sense to me. Like, does he think we're just stupid, or
Well, my thing on it is I don't want to hear another one of Trump's cop-loving supporters say, if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be concerned. Because guess what? Until your president, not mine, your president shows his tax returns, that argument means nothing to me. Go away.